Good morning, Johnstown Toastmasters and guests. My name is Shauna Kasich. I'm serving as your Pathways Guide and Ambassador. If you go to other meetings, you may see two of us. Some clubs have an ambassador and a guide. I'm serving in both roles today. My presentation today is to give a high-level overview of Pathways. As you already know, Pathways has launched. That launched on October 31st. Hopefully you've received that email from International. You've had a chance to get in there and check out the site. That would be on Toastmasters International website. You can log in under the education program, see Pathways, and then get started from there. I will be sharing a presentation with you today, so in a moment I will turn off my video and you will see the presentation instead. So let me just get that going really quickly, and then I will turn off my video and get started with today's presentation. Some members have already been working through Pathways for quite some time now, so I first want to share a video with you about members sharing their Pathways experience.
What I like best about Pathways is the fact that it's much more customized to what you may want to get out of Toastmasters, what your goals are. It's basically Toastmasters updated.
The base camp is like having a personal coach. It guides you through the journey of Pathways and tells you the next steps.
One of the things I liked about base camp is that I can tell where I am in my journey and continue at the next step. I know exactly where I am.
I've used it on a computer, I've used it on a tablet, I've used it on a phone.
It's really cool that we're able to go on to base camp and take a quiz that determines what path best suits our needs.
One of the most surprising things about the assessment is that it gave me more awareness about what exactly I was looking for.
The questions were very introspective.
And the assessment was very intuitive. Taking the assessment helped me really put a finger on my goals.
These paths are going to aid me in a more specific way than the previous programs did.
The path that I chose really gave me the step-to-step roadmap into achieving my goals. There are 10 different paths. It's amazing how much opportunity there is for the future.
Pathways has led me to a whole new level.
I'm really appreciative that Toastmasters has this new, exciting format. After decades of having an old format, we are now up to date, and we can determine which path best suits the individual.
For those of you who do not know about Pathways, it's the greatest change to the Toastmasters education program since Ralph Smedley introduced the basic training manual in the 1940s. Ralph said, "Communication leads to the discovery of hidden abilities. It broadens the person's conception of how to live with people. It brings out for use the leadership traits and abilities, and thus helps to prepare the individual to be a leader." Ralph Smedley is the founder of Toastmasters. It was his belief that communication was the foundation for each of us to fulfill our individual potential and to coexist with others. He knew that the world needed strong communicators and effective leaders, and he was convinced that people could unearth abilities they never knew they had and build on those abilities by supporting one another and learning from each other. It began with the basic training manual, which evolved into the program we use today, including the Competent Communication, Competent Leadership Manual, and 15 advanced manuals. But how we learn and what we want to learn has changed since the CC and CL were developed. We want to learn in a structured process that allows us to build our skills progressively. We want to build competencies and sub-competencies that allow us to use our skills in a variety of circumstances, in our personal relationships, careers, and community. Our time is limited. We're busier than ever, so we want to customize our experience to learn exactly what we need, not a generic program that offers limited skills. And we also want to enjoy the learning process. Ralph also said, "We learn in moments of enjoyment." In fact, he said, "The simple fact is that we grow or learn or work better when we enjoy what we're doing. And this is essentially the secret of success in Toastmasters." In 2010, the board of directors at World Headquarters decided to take a look at the education program and refresh it. They wanted to modernize the communication track and renew the focus on leadership. So they set out to create a new experience that offered high value and high enjoyment, paired with the board's vision to create an education program that allows you to customize your experience to your needs, offer flexibility in how you experience the program, expand the resources available, build competencies that are translatable to real-world situations, and receive and give effective and meaningful evaluations. The result is the Pathways learning experience. Pathways was designed for you. You decide what skills you want to build and the pace you want to follow. You decide if you want to use electronic materials or have a professional printed manual. You get to choose which videos to watch and which resources you want to utilize. And you get to decide how to apply the skills to build your career, your community, and your family. It gives you more control and more access than ever before. Let's take a look.
Welcome to the Toastmasters Pathways learning experience, an exciting, flexible, and interactive way to develop your skills and help others in your club develop theirs. Building on Dr. Smedley's original vision and Toastmasters' core competencies, Pathways upholds the club experience while offering new, revitalized educational content that helps you learn communication and leadership skills that address real-world scenarios. Pathways expands on the current education and leadership tracks by offering more than 300 competencies across 59 projects. These projects are divided into 10 specialized learning paths that allow you to tailor your experience to fit your needs and your pace. All of this content is available online, allowing you to learn anytime, anywhere, from your computer, laptop, or tablet through Basecamp. Basecamp is the place where you'll find all of the materials for your learning experience, along with tools for your journey. In Basecamp, you'll be able to share feedback with fellow club members, view badges you've earned, access and save digital speech evaluations, and more. When you first begin Pathways, you'll take an online assessment that will recommend the path that's right for you. You'll be able to access your path from your education transcript in Basecamp, where you can view and complete projects. New elective projects, such as write a compelling blog and manage projects successfully, allow you to tailor your learning to meet your interests. Projects in Basecamp include a variety of interactive elements, including questionnaires, quizzes, menus, and expandable content. Educational videos model skills and provide demonstrations of the concepts you are learning. For example, Prepare for an Interview shows effective and ineffective interview techniques. Introduction to Toastmasters Mentoring demonstrates the difference between coaching and mentoring. And Manage Online Meetings provides the best practices and strategies for holding a webinar or another type of online meeting. As you can see, Pathways represents an exciting paradigm shift that brings with it many new learning opportunities. What's more, Pathways will feel familiar to you because it maintains the things you love about Toastmasters, including your club experience. Pathways is coming to your club soon. Visit toastmasters.org/pathways to learn more.
Pathways has already launched in our region. That launched on October 31st. You should have all received an email from headquarters with a link to access that. If you have not checked that out yet, I would encourage you to log in, check out Pathways, and then determine if you want to use the online through Basecamp or if you want to choose the printed materials. Whether you've earned your CC, CL, DTM, or anything in between, there is a path for you. The new program leverages the strength of our traditional program, but gives you more competencies, more in-depth skill building, more flexibility, more resources, and more opportunities to learn, grow, and thrive. To build Pathways, World Headquarters began by analyzing the current program. They took into consideration what was taught, how it was taught, what skills and competencies were being gained, and they also determined what was missing. They then set the foundation. Today, there are 5 core competencies that people build through Toastmasters: public speaking, interpersonal communication, strategic leadership, management, and confidence. While competence cannot be learned, the other 4 competencies are teachable. In the traditional program, you can build up to 68 competencies. In Pathways, there are more than 280 competencies that you can build and leverage. The result is 10 unique paths. Each path focuses on 1, 2, or 3 core competencies, as you can see in the chart. All of the paths offer public speaking because you present at least one speech in every project. When you take a path, you'll work through 5 different levels, and each level increases in complexity, so you build skills along the way. This is one of the greatest differences between the traditional education program and Pathways. There are 59 total projects in Pathways, and more will be created after the rollout is complete. All projects and all resources will be available online in English, along with 8 other official Toastmasters languages. Recognition is still an important component of Pathways. In the new program, you'll receive recognition more frequently, and online, members can recognize each other. As you can see here, there are 2 different types of badges. On the top row, you see level achievement badges that you'll receive online as you complete levels 1 through 5 in a path. Below those, you'll see the awards you can give each other. There are 5 in total, and they include outstanding, courageous, and exceptional. Another positive change you'll see in Pathways is the speech evaluations. You still give and receive verbal and written evaluation in your club meetings, but the way that you do this and the resources you use have changed. Each evaluation is now tied to and customized for each speech. Here's an example of the new evaluation form. The first page gives an overview of the assignment you're completing, which helps the evaluator understand what you're trying to accomplish. Your evaluator will use the second page to score the skills you demonstrate during your speech. All evaluations for all projects are scored on a scale of 5 to 1, with 5 being the highest and 1 being the lowest. The third page helps your evaluator determine your score for each competency or skill. This page should be used side by side with the second page to determine your scores. Here's what will happen when you receive an evaluation in Pathways. Before you speak, make sure you give your evaluator the evaluation resource that corresponds to the project you're completing. You can send it to your evaluator, or they can download it from Basecamp. If you're completing your path in printed materials, you can give your book to your evaluator during the meeting, just as you do today. During the meeting, your evaluator has 2 options for completing the evaluation. They can either write on a printed copy of the resource, or they can download it, fill it out, and electronically send it to you later. You will be able to upload and store copies of all evaluations in Basecamp. The mentor program is still an important component of Toastmasters experience. I'm excited to announce there's a new mentoring program available, the Pathways Mentor Program. You'll be able to enroll in this program once you complete level 2 of your path. There are 4 projects in the program, including Introduction to Toastmasters Mentoring. There's no extra charge for pursuing the Pathways Mentor Program. After you complete all projects in the Pathways Mentor Program, as well as 1 full path in Pathways, you are designated a Pathways Mentor. We understand it's going to take some time before your club has Pathways Mentors, and that's okay. You can continue with your current mentoring process until members of your club have moved through the Pathways Mentor Program. As I mentioned, you should have received an email from headquarters on October 31st with a link to get started. And this is what that would look like. When you log in, you will see this page, and you will have the option to view the navigator, choose your path, or log into Basecamp. If this is your first time logging in, you will also be prompted with a tutorial and a little guide about the home page. The navigator is a new manual that you'll reference again and again. The navigator is your easy-to-use guide to the Toastmasters experience. It walks you through Pathways, defines the club meeting roles, explains who the club officers are, and offers tips and tools to get started. You can view or print it from Basecamp, or you can request a printed copy from Toastmasters International. Flexibility in delivery is a key component to Pathways. Now you can choose to use print or take advantage of online access. You get to decide. Print paths are limited. There are 5 paths available in English and 2 paths available in other language. Print is also a bit more expensive. While Basecamp gives you a more robust experience, you must choose the option that's best for you. Once you decide how you would like Pathways delivered to you, if you've chosen online, you can take an assessment. The purpose of this assessment is to help you decide which path is right for you. You answer a few simple questions which help to narrow down your interests and experience. The result of the assessment is 3 recommended paths that best meet your needs. However, if you aren't interested in the recommended paths, you can scroll down to learn more about the additional paths before making your choice. Once you make your choice, you can begin. You can all begin in Pathways now since it has launched in our region. I know that some of you may be working towards awards in the traditional education program, and that's okay. You have plenty of time to fulfill those requirements before the traditional education program is phased out. Wherever you are in your current journey, you have a choice to make. From the day Pathways rolls out in the last region to receive it, which at this time is scheduled for June 2018, you will have 2 years to achieve your goals in the traditional program. So from around today, you have about 2.5 years to complete those goals. Please keep in mind that your achievements toward the goals in the traditional program will not be transferable to Pathways. The projects and structures of learning are so incredibly different for the 2 programs that they're not easily transferable. If you want to reach a goal you've been working toward in the traditional program, I encourage you to meet it as soon as possible. Since Pathways has launched, all new members of your club will begin in Pathways. They cannot start in the traditional education program. Pathways doesn't change the club meetings. Your club benefits from Pathways just like you do. With all the new opportunities in Pathways, your club leaders can grow the club. Pathways represents a paradigm shift, but will feel familiar to you because it maintains what you love about Toastmasters. Your club meetings will still be at the heart of Toastmasters. Do you still give speeches? Yes. Will you still have table topics? Yes. You will still fulfill meeting roles. Pathways will not extend the length of your meetings. The required length for most Pathways speeches is still 5 to 7 minutes. Some of you may be wondering how Pathways affects your club progress toward becoming a distinguished club. The Distinguished Club program will be adjusted to accommodate the rollout of Pathways and the 2 years it runs concurrently. The graphic here shows how this will work. Your club must meet 6 of the 12 goals listed to achieve recognition in the Distinguished Club program. This also includes maintaining your number of members and your officer training. You have a support team as we transition to Pathways. That would be the district leadership team, your chief ambassador, and myself as the ambassador and guide. I've sent today your rollout kit, so at this time I would like to ask that the VPE hand out the quick start guide. And as that's being handed out, I will go through the other items in the rollout kit. There's one printed copy of the Navigator that now belongs to your club. You'll want to read the Navigator for important information on Pathways and how to use the new evaluation resources. Your kit also contains 3 Pathways pins. Your VPE will hand these out to the first 3 of you who begin in Pathways. There's also a coupon code in the rollout kit for additional Pathways pins. If your club chooses to purchase those, you'll receive a discounted rate. Finally, your kit includes a flash drive with copies of resources your club may need with a transition to Pathways, including the new membership application. This is important to note. If you hand out guest packets for your guests and you have a membership application in there, you need to print out the new application and switch those in your member packets or your guest packets. I've only shown you a few aspects of Basecamp today, but hopefully you will have the opportunity or have had the opportunity to log in, take the guided tour of the homepage, and get started. As I mentioned, there is an area of Basecamp that has tutorials organized by topics, so you can go in there and search for resources on getting started. Also, once you log into Basecamp, you must disable the pop-up blocker on your browser in order to see your online projects and resources. If you do not do this, Basecamp will not work properly. Even after today's meeting, I'm still here to support your club. Starting in a few weeks, we will begin holding weekly virtual support sessions with your club. This includes officers and and members, anyone who wants to join. The purpose of these meetings will be to answer questions and also have an education portion focused on a specific topic about Pathways. As you can see on your quick start guide, you'll need to sign into Toastmasters International website in order to begin your journey in Pathways. At this time, I would like to direct all questions to Travis. He will then compile those questions and send them off to me, and I will answer them. Remember to please contact me if you have any questions as we transition into Pathways. I'm here to help you and support you over the next 4 months, and I look forward to working with you.